Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. I'm sure you guys have seen the Black Knight Decoded, a Pepsi production. I had a lot of people ask me what I thought about it, so I decided to dig in and see what I can come up with. The mini-movie speaks for itself, and I'm not really going to spend a whole lot of time breaking it down, but I do want to provide a synopsis overview and then dig into behind the scenes of how this little mini production came together and analyze what's going on. First off, the introduction begins with the mention of Nikola Tesla and his discovery of a satellite in 1899, which is known as the Black Knight satellite. The speculations of its roots, that it reaches back 13,000 years, is also noted. What's interesting is the claim that this is not science fiction, but that this is real. Now, the video follows a guy who's been chasing this thing for several years, and how every time he gets close to cracking the code, intelligence agencies come to try to stop him. He discovers the same signal that Tesla allegedly found and uploads it to the global community. Before long, the message is decoded by discovering that it was encrypted with ancient Sumerian cuneiform, and the message is then broadcast to the world, quote, "We came to you many thousands of years ago, when your civilization was young. You have grown quickly and efficiently, but you still have so much to learn. If you want us to return, on the night of your next full moon, the people of Earth must show us they are ready. We will be watching." Then to the emotionally driven soundtrack of Usher's song Miracles, which happens to have a line that states, quote, "better than walking on water," which can only be seen as an indirect, underhanded bash of Jesus Christ and his miracles. The world makes displays to their newly found space overlords. Now, I'm sure someone out there can find the hidden meanings behind some of these skyward projections and other parts of the production. For example, the fact that these alleged aliens on the Black Knight satellite wanted the humans to present a sign that they're ready on the next full moon, which, of course, if you guys have been tracking some of the fringe conspiracy ideas, a rabbit trail is available to go down the alleged moon and its holographic nature of what some people have collected footage on and have speculated upon. But that's for you guys to do on your own. I'm not really going to go there with this video. I'll leave links to all those things in the description section, but what I want to do is tackle the things that I can verify behind the scenes of who produced this little mini video. This was a collaboration between Pepsi, LEG, which is the Levity Entertainment Group production, and UrtheCast, which interestingly has something that looks like a cube logo. Now, it was directed by Jabbar, Raisani, known for his visual effects for Game of Thrones, Superman Returns, Spy Kids 3D, and several other movies. But he also wrote, directed, and produced a film called Alien Outpost. It was a movie about a documentary crew that follows an elite unit of soldiers in the wake of an alien invasion. And in the film, there's a giant reptilian in it. Now, I'm not saying there's anything meaningful there. It's just interesting to point out that the director of this little Pepsi production happens to have a movie with reptilians in it. Now, the video was produced by two people, Norman Aladjem and John Brevakis. Aladjem is a senior agent for the Levity Entertainment Group, which is a vertically integrated talent management, television production, branded entertainment, live exhibition, and digital marketing firm based out of Los Angeles, California. Brevakis is the COO of Triage Entertainment, and they have produced several television programs like Black Jesus, The Next Food Network Star, The Mentalist, and many, many others. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. The next contributor is UrtheCast, spelled U-R-T-H-E cast, C-A-S-T, a company that claims that, quote, "we move pixels from space to the screen." Basically, they're an international tech company that captures and streams various images of Earth from the ISS, the International Space Station. Now, according to the UrtheCast website, they have mounted on the ISS two cameras. First is the Iris, which is a full-color HD camera. Second is called the Theia, which is a push broom imagery camera. Now, push broom imagery is a technology for obtaining images with spectroscopic sensors. It's regularly used for passive remote sensing from space and in spectral analysis on production lines, for example, with near-infrared spectroscopy. And not surprisingly, the title for this camera, Theia, in Greek mythology is a titaness. The name Theia alone just means goddess or divine, but another name for Theia, or Theia's full name, Theia Eurefesa, or Wide Shining, brings overtones of extent and brightness. Her brother, or consort, is Hyperion, a titan and god of the sun, and together they are the parents of Helios, which is the sun, which doesn't make sense, sort of, Selene, the moon, and Eos, the dawn. In Hesiod's theogony, she is the daughter of Gaia and Uranus, earth and sky. So conceptually, it makes sense that they would name this camera Theia, but it's always strange how NASA and other space-based agencies all use ancient mythological names to suit their projects or their gear. And speaking of NASA, they're very much involved in this project, as you might well not be surprised to know. The rabbit trails and connections with UrtheCast are endless, though. You can dig around their website and find some very interesting things, from a list of investors, governance documents, to the cast of operators for the company. A couple of notable mentions. A member of the advisory board is retired Peter Marino, who is a senior advisor to defense and intelligence community. He was the former president and COO of Lockheed Electronics Company. He was advisor to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, DHS, Department of Defense, or DoD, and the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the NGA. Now, for me, as someone who's been tracking this idea of a secret space program, the mention of Lockheed is interesting based on the Lockheed Skunk Works and Ben Rich and some of the comments that he's made. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave links in the description section, or look for the cards with links above where I talk about these things. But even more, for anyone who's been following my channel this year, we know that on board one of the crashed Airbuses from earlier this year was a woman who was involved with the NGA. And if you recall, we speculated on the potential agenda behind the crash of the Airbus, that it may have had something to do with having knowledge or about to go public with some information that may have been damaging to the intelligence agencies. But getting back to this advisory board guy, anyone involved in the DHS, DoD, and intelligence in general ought to be suspect, to say the least. This is especially ironic since in the little production, the intelligence agencies are hunting for the guy who uploaded the message from the Black Knight satellite onto the internet. But the final company to look at is Pepsi. Now, Pepsi has some very interesting connections to occult knowledge in its most recent incarnation of the logo. According to a Newsweek article titled "The Crazy Genius of Brand Guru Peter Arnell," published in 2009, a controversy surrounding this enigmatic marketing genius led to a leak of a document that he had given to Pepsi Company concerning their logo. The article states this, quote, "Yet despite his achievements, some rivals dismiss Arnell as a pompous, pretentious, phony intellectual, a fraud basically. That criticism seemed on target when, in the midst of the Tropicana controversy, someone leaked a 27-page memo Arnell wrote for PepsiCo, crammed with so much pseudo-intellectual claptrap, references to the Mona Lisa, the Parthenon, the Golden Ratio, the relativity of space and time, magnetic fields, perimeter oscillations of the Pepsi logo, and gravitational pull of a can of Pepsi on a supermarket shelf, the rate of expansion of the universe, that some thought it might be a hoax. It wasn't." So according to this article, at the very least, the guy who created the most recent incarnation of the Pepsi logo felt that there was some very occult significances to its design, and it's no surprise then that the UFO, or aliens, have been part of Pepsi advertisement for decades. In 1984, of all years, Pepsi was shown to be so tasty that even the aliens wanted it. And I recall during the Super Bowl halftime show of 2015, right before Katy Perry took the stage with her whole occult performance, a huge Pepsi ad blasted on the screen, complete with the same UFO abducting a Pepsi dispenser machine. So what's the deal here? Why is Pepsi producing a mini film that's going viral, depicting a mysterious object called the Black Knight satellite being decoded with a message from our Sumerian gods, known as the Anunnaki by the way, provoking humans to beg for their return by showing ourselves approved? And why is the web behind the production span from Hollywood, NASA, intelligence agencies, global surveillance technology, Greek mythology, and even a pop artist who has a line that undermines Jesus Christ? Well, that's precisely it, in my opinion. The, quote, return of the gods is something that has been promoted as a potential reality to our generation for some time. Some have suggested that the entire operation will be a huge global hoax, while others have stated that the phenomenon will be real, but who they claim to be will be the lie. As a Christian and someone who adheres to the truths found in the prophetic implications of the Bible, I think it's possible that the agenda to reveal the fallen angels as our creators and as our gods is what's going on here. These beings who once wreaked havoc on Earth centuries ago by genetically manipulating man's DNA to produce a race of hybrids called Nephilim, which ultimately led to the flooding of the Earth as judgment, except for one man and his family, might be back, knocking on our doorstep. And even if the entire thing is a hoax, Project Bluebeam, a mass delusion done by the works of false signs and wonders, the end game of uniting the Earth under a single global government, under the man of sin, the son of disobedience, might be the reason why the Black Knight Decoded ends with these lines, quote, "And on this day, we came together with one voice, one purpose, as one world, and a new world opened up, bringing us close to space as we were to each other. This is only the beginning," end quote. So as a conclusion, all I have to say is repent and turn to the way, the truth, and the life that is only found in Jesus Christ, our true Lord and Savior of the world. Let me know what you thought about the Black Knight Decoded, a Pepsi production, because I'm sure there's lots of things within the symbols and images shown in the production itself that I didn't cover here that are worth mentioning. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.